All right, so this is going to be a bit of a longer video, but uh, what we'll be covering is how to use Clay for inbound sales. So first, what I'm going to do is just walk you over the table I've already created. And then if you feel comfortable just recreating it based off the video, go for it. In the second half, what I'm going to do is actually make the table so you can follow along if you want to while you're building it. But the overall use case is on Clay and likely on your own website, you have an inbound form. We request first name, last name, and work email. What we want to do is figure out what this person's LinkedIn profile is, what company they work for, what the size of the company is, and be able to qualify this lead. Now, something that we'll quickly find is that even though we ask for work emails, people will still put in their personal email. And so going through this flow, what I've done is there's essentially two routes a lead can go, right? So they come into our inbound form, they come into this table, which you can also automatically begin pulling in leads from using a webhook. And then once they are in this table, they're either going to go the path of the personal email or the path of the work email. And the flows are different, but I have it all in one table here. So to walk you through how I've done this, you'll see I have first name, last name, and email. The first step is to extract the domain from the email address. And I have this checkbox right here. And if the email address is a personal email, the checkbox will be checked. If it is a work email, the checkbox will not be checked. The reason that's important is because, again, the flows are going to be different for these different people. So to make it a little bit easier to view, I've gone ahead and made a tab. The first one I'm going to show is just for work emails. So if the checkbox is not checked, which I have this filter right here, if personal email is not checked, they're going to go through the workflow where I find and enrich the person. And all I've done here is I'm looking up the guest name as well as the domain. And the guest name is coming from this extract company domain from email address integration. And then it's a pretty simple workflow, right? So I find and enrich the person, I pull out the LinkedIn URL, and then enrich the company from their latest experience. I pull out the size, the type, and the industry, right? And again, for the work emails, it's pretty simple. Now for personal emails, so again, these are people who the domain included a personal email domain. The flow is a little bit longer, but still pretty simple. So what I'm doing here is I'm using first People Data Labs. And what I've done is I'm putting in the inbound email address, and I'm going to be looking for some of the information that can come out of this. So I can get, guest names, I can get additional emails, I can get even profiles, which in this case, again, the goal is to find their LinkedIn profile. And so I can get that from this integration. If I find the LinkedIn profile from People Data Labs, I have this enriched person LinkedIn integration. If I cannot find the person from People Data Labs, I'll run them through Clearbit, and Clearbit will hopefully find their LinkedIn profile. And then from those two integrations, it is a really tough task to enrich personal emails, but I'll fill in the gaps as much as I can, and then I can just enrich the person using the profile found from one of those two integrations. And then again, enriching the profile allows me to then find the company and enrich the company. So let's open a new tab right now, and I'm just going to walk you through how to do this yourself from scratch. So let's go to home. We're going to go to new table, and we are going to, we're just going to start from a blank table. So the initial inputs that we're going to have, and this might be different for your own inbound form, but I'm going to have first name, I will have last name, and let's change this to text. And then finally, I'm going to have email. And I'm going to say very clearly inbound email, actually. Cool. And so we'll go to settings, and I'm going to change this to an email type. All right, so let's go ahead and populate this. I'm going to put in a few records just for the setup so we can see what happens. All right, so now I've got these records in here. The first thing I need to do is extract the domain, right? Because I want to choose which path the lead is going to go down. They're either going to go down personal email path or work email path. So if I go to enrichments and I go to search domain and extract domain from email address. all I have to do is map that inbound email, continue to add fields, and I'm going to go ahead and just save and run this actually without creating any columns, right? And so we get something that looks like this. Now what we want to do is create that checkbox. So I'm going to go to a formula column. I'll go to AI formula generator, and I'm going to say, only check this box if one of the following conditions are true, right? So when I click / I can select any of these objects. So I'm going to do Gmail, that could be true, right? Same thing, I'm going to go through and select all of the potential personal email addresses that we have in here. And you see what I'm doing, I'm going to pause and do this really quick so you don't have to watch through the whole thing. All right, so now I've added this in. I've said only check the box if, I'm actually going to say any of the following conditions are true. Click generate formula. And on the right-hand side, we'll get a preview of what will run and what will not run based off of the data in our table. Okay, and so we can see this is kind of the example. All of these are false, and so the checkbox is going to be false. It won't be checked. One of these is true, and so it will be true. One of these is true, so it will be true. So I'm going to say output is correct and save formula. And now I'm just going to go to the column type. You can keep this as text if you want, but I think it just looks cleaner as a checkbox. Save settings, and I'm going to change this to it is personal email. Cool. So again, this video is going to be longer, but to this point, what we've been able to do is establish whether the person has inputted a personal or a work email. And this will allow us to create those two separate paths. So let's get started. Let's do the easiest one first. Let's do the work email path first. So I'm going to go up to views. I'm going to add a view, and I'm going to change the name of this view to work emails. Again, you can do this all in one place. This is just a little bit of a cleaner way to do it. And now, because I'm on the work emails view, I'm going to filter this only to people who have his personal email not checked. So it's just one person, right? So from the extract company domain from email address, I've basically been able to find everything I need, which is the name as well as the domain. So what I'm going to do is create a new enriched data column, and I'm going to find and enrich person from Google search. And the search query is going to be pretty quick. All I actually have to do is, in parentheses, I'm going to map the guest name. So if we open up this enrichment here and scroll down, we'll see guest name. And then space, and then again in parentheses, this time I'm going to add the domain, which is right here. Continue to add fields, and from this, I just want to pull out the title of the person, which is right here. And then I'm going to go ahead and save and run. And now what I'm also going to want to do as this is running is find the company. So I'm going to do enrich company. Again, use LinkedIn. And you'll see it just found me on here. So I can go to company LinkedIn URL. And actually might need to refresh this really quick. Enrichment, enrich company, path company LinkedIn URL, and here we go. So you'll see the suggested ones are here. Just to be safe, I'm going to scroll under finding the rich person from Google search. I just want to point out, make sure that you identify the latest experience URL. You don't want to use the incorrect job. So if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, we can open this up and we can map the URL of my latest experience. Continue to add fields, and I'm just going to map out the size, the type, and let's do the locality as well. Save and run first 10. And there we go. So this is pretty much everything you need for the first path, which is finding work emails. Again, it's pretty quick setup. All we've done now to this point is we've identified work versus personal emails, we have found and enriched the person based off of the information from this integration, and then we've also enriched the company. Now, for the second path, we are going to find personal emails. So I'm going to name this personal emails. I'm going to filter it down to where the is personal email is checked. And then to clean this up, I'm also going to hide all of those enrichments from the work email table view. So boom, boom, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to show you really quick. If we go to the one I've already made, right, of personal emails. So again, the first step we're going to do is PDL, and then we're going to do Clearbit, and then we're going to do the enrich person and enrich company. So let's go to enrichment. First, I'm going to search People Data Labs. People Data Labs, it's a bit more expensive, but it's a solid integration, and it is great because it allows you to use personal email addresses. So in the email address, I'm going to input that inbound email, and I'm going to go ahead and actually say LinkedIn must be required. Continue to add, save and run, and let's see this populate. All right, so you'll see a LinkedIn URL was found for Rory, but not for the other two. So now I'm going to add the Clearbit integration, and it is going to be the Clearbit enrich person and company. I'm going to type in the inbound email, continue to add fields, and again, save and run first 10. Okay, and I'm actually going to add a third one right now as well, which is going to be nimbler. If I use find a work email, I actually have the ability to, find personal email. Sorry, I'm actually going to stick with just these two for right now. Okay, and the last thing I want to do is I don't want to run 2 integrations every time. So basically, if People Data Labs finds the LinkedIn URL, I don't want to waste credits and run Clearbit as well. So I'm going to go to the settings for Clearbit. And the formula is very simple, but I really think the AI formula generator is a great tool. So I'm going to show off how you can use this yourself here. And again, all I'm going to say is only run this column if, and then / allows me to select the column. And I can say if PDL is empty. And so for the first 2, it should run, and for the third, it should say no. So yes, yes, no, perfect. Output is correct. Say formula, save and run first 10, and you'll see it says run condition not met, which is perfect. So now what I want to do is you'll see the LinkedIn URL could be found in this first column, or it could be found in this second column. So a very easy workaround here is using a column type called merge. So I clicked plus button, merge, and you'll see it says first try, then try. So what it's saying is it's first going to try to pull the input from one place. In this case, I'm first going to try to pull it from PDL. If it is not in PDL, I'm then going to try to pull it from Clearbit. So I just have to click / to select the column, and then I can open up PDL, and it's under profiles and LinkedIn URL. Cool. So if it's not from PDL, again, next I'm going to try Clearbit / Clearbit, open up the person, and there's something called LinkedIn handle. Perfect. And then I'll save settings. So you'll see it wasn't found for these 2, but it was found for this one. So I at least have a LinkedIn URL, right? Now I can kind of follow the same enrichments as previously, where I'm going to first, because I have the LinkedIn URL of the person already, I can just go to enrich person, and I will enrich person from LinkedIn profile, and I'll map that last field, which was new column. And I'll save and run first 10. And I'm going to rename this column final LinkedIn personal. Yeah, cool. All right, and now I found the person. The next thing I can do is enrich company. Again, same as last time, I'm going to open up the company URL. And I actually know that this one is the right URL, so I'm just going to go ahead and select this. And again, I'll map out the size, type, and locality. Save and run. Cool. And something quick to note here is I added all these columns into this personal email view. What I do need to do is just go into the work email view and hide all of those new ones that I added, right? Because I only want to show the right ones in each column. So I'm just going to hide all of these. Cool. All right, and there we have it. What you can also do is if we go back to the default view, you'll see that all of the integrations are still here. So you'll see I've got, first up was the work email, which is this part here. And then secondly, I've got the personal email, which is this here. If I want to make like one view to see them all, I can just go ahead and make merge fields. So let's do that really quick. I'll make a merge field for the size of the company. So first I'm going to try the size from the work email, and then I'm going to try the size from the personal email. Boom, I've got a new column, and this is going to be, I'll just call this personal plus work, right? So this is the size of personal plus work. And I'm going to move that all the way up to the top as well so that it comes right after the inbound email. And you'll see if you want it all in one view, right here, I've got already just the size, whether it's a personal email or it is a work email. Yeah, this is, again, it is a bigger flow. Again, like it took me maybe 10 minutes to set up, so it really is not very hard to do. But once you have it set up, you can automate this and have your form inputs automatically go into here. And I won't dive into that. We have another tutorial on using webhooks. But what you would need to do is click import data, and then you can choose webhook, and you can link Zapier to automatically send a new first name, last name, and inbound email every time something is sent to this webhook. And there we have it. If you have any questions, please join the Slack community. You can ask us there. And yeah, good luck. Thank you.